Hello, fellow YouTubers. We are Bob and Susie, and we combined our names to name our beloved RV Buzie. Together with our kitty Roary, we have amazing adventures we call Bussing with Buzie. In September, we embarked on a 7-week journey. This video is our adventure in Yellowstone National Park. Our first night in town, we ate dinner at the Wild West Saloon. We were entertained by a wonderful singer who performed several fun Irish songs. In reviews, we were told to sample the moose drool and the huckleberry margarita. We did, and we were not disappointed.
Big fan of the moose drool.
The next morning, we met our guide to tour the lower loop. There is an upper and lower loop. We started at the Grand Canyon. The lower falls measures 308 feet, the highest of the park falls and twice as large as Niagara Falls. The upper falls is a 109-foot cascade.
Leaving the Grand Canyon area of the park, we drove to Hayden Valley in search of bison. Yellowstone is the only place bison have lived continuously since prehistoric times. By 1875, hunters had killed all but 21 bison in the park. Restrictions were put in place, and now there are over 3,000 living year-round here. This is their park, and they roam when and where they want to. They are gorgeous creatures, and I implore all of you Turons to leave them alone, please. Scott, our guide, next took us to the Mud Volcano area. It's near the greatest uplift and sinking of the Yellowstone caldera floor. Many faults converge here and earthquakes are common. The area has many mud pots, and these hydrothermal features are some of the most acidic in the park.
Vents here and at Old Faithful are called resurgent domes, active ground deformation where land moves up or down. Yellowstone sits on an active volcano. It's why the park is so special. The reason for all the hydrothermal features. Yellowstone Lake was our next stop after a picnic lunch. It's the largest lake in the park with over 100 miles of shoreline and the deepest depth of 394 feet. The lake was pretty quiet that day, but the driftwood made for some fun photos.
The famous Old Faithful was our next destination. We first stopped at the Old Faithful Inn while waiting for the scheduled Old Faithful eruption. Robert Roary was the designer of this inn. It opened in 1904. Its rustic character, created from native wood and stone, set an architectural standard for luxury accommodations. Its relaxed atmosphere blended in with the landscape. Currently, Old Faithful erupts 20 times a day and averages between 100 and 180 feet in height. It lasts a minute and a half to 5 minutes. During an eruption, the water temperature is 204 degrees with the steam at a balmy 305 degrees.
There's more to see than Old Faithful in this area. There are many hydrothermal features to see while waiting for Old Faithful to erupt. Yellowstone was given official status in 1872, covering 3,400 miles, and features 2 main driving routes. We were tired, but we made one more stop before calling it a day in the park. We walked along the fountain paint pot area, vats of bubbling mud that make interesting colors.
After our guide dropped us off, we decided to dine at TR's Burgers. TR stands for Teddy Roosevelt. The restaurant was quaint and the burgers were delicious. Our minds racing with wonder, our bellies full, we headed back to our KOA for a good night's sleep. The sky provided entertainment for our short drive back to rest in Buzie.
On day 2 at Yellowstone, we started at the Artist Paint Pots, a 1-mile hydrothermal area containing hot springs, mud pots, and small geysers.
Bob is scared.
Driving up the west side of the upper loop, we passed incredible views. We were on our way to the Mammoth Hot Springs area.
On our first day, our guide Scott had told us stories about the Nez Perce Native Americans and how they were friendly. In spite of this, the U.S. military in 1877 attacked these natives, killing 90 people. That history and more is in the Albright History Center. Mammoth Hot Springs is a large complex of hot springs on a hill of travertine. It's been created over thousands of years as hot water from the spring cools and deposits calcium carbonate. Do you want to know why there are so many wonderful colors? It's algae. Algae in the warm pools tint the travertine shades of brown, orange, red, and green, making this site another great colorful attraction.
This is Roaring Mountain. It looks like a smoking mountain, especially on cool mornings. It's a hillside full of steaming fumaroles, escaping gases and steam that rumble and hiss to create the sounds you hear. Yellowstone National Park was remarkable, and we hope to return to see all the things we missed. See you next time.
See you next time.